Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Viva, Viva Las Vegas. Oh, I should stop singing. Hello, people of the internet. How's everyone on this fine June evening?
All
I don't know
right.
about everyone else, but it's still June gloom here in Washington.
June gloom meaning you have clouds right now?
Oh yeah. Oh, it hasn't gotten warm.
Oh, okay.
Thankfully though.
It's like 108 here.
Holy moly. But that's just another run. That's another run of the mill day for you guys right now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Hmm. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Captain's Quarters, the unofficial Star Trek rewatch podcast where we are rewatching the entire Star Trek franchise, starting at the beginning of the official chronology. We have worked our way through Star Trek Enterprise, 2 seasons of Star Trek Discovery. We watched The Cage, the entire first season of Strange New Worlds. And now we're on Strange New Worlds season 2, episode 3, called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Anybody new here, the format of our show is I have never seen any of these episodes. And Jason is the resident Star Trek expert. And so that's the format. I ask questions. He explains things that are cool. We talk about things that we enjoy,
Yeah.
and we have fun along the way. Anyway, um, Jason, make it so. How are you?
Good. How are you? It's always good
Really
to be
good.
back in the captain's quarters.
Always, always. Yeah.
We were off last week because I
It's
was on
because I
shore
was
leave.
sick.
Oh, okay, okay.
I was sick. Yeah.
It's usually
Still
me
am.
on shore leave somewhere.
That's true. Yeah. I still am a little sick, so my voice sounds probably more annoying than it normally does, but it'll be all right. It'll be okay.
I think it'll be all
Maybe
right.
it'll make it sound better. Anyway, so we're gonna read the brief synopsis via fandom.com, and
Woo!
here we go. Laan Noonien Singh travels back in time to 21st century Earth to prevent an attack which will alter humanity's future history and bring her face to face with her own contentious legacy. The Earth city that they visit is Toronto.
Woo! Toronto! Woo!
Fans of this
One of the
show
greatest
know.
cities in the world. New York, but
There we
safer.
go.
So just, yeah.
Jason is a big. What is the term? What is the Anglophile version of
Oh, that's a good
Canadiophile?
question. I don't know. I don't
Canadaphile?
know. I don't know. It's because I grew up there. My parents had a condo there, played hockey there. Yeah.
I mean, that's not the only reason. That's a big part of
It's a
it,
big
right?
part. It's a big part. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a big
Jason
part of
loves Canada.
it. It's a huge part of me being a Canuck for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I was excited for you on that part. I knew that was going to be a big deal for this episode.
Yeah, you know it. Toronto. Oh, Sky Dome, CN Tower. Oh man. Oh, Rogers Center. Excuse me.
Oh yeah, we had a name change or something.
Yeah. It'll always be the Sky Dome to me.
Okay.
Great place to see a baseball game. For all our listeners out there, it's an underrated ballpark. There's a hotel that you can go and stay at, and it overlooks center field. And if you, it's a splurge, it's a little splurge, but if you can get one of the rooms that oversee um, center field, you get a hotel room and um, a baseball game all at the same time.
Very nice.
And when the
I,
dome is
I,
open, oh, nothing's better.
I assume you're talking about the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I'm talking about Toronto Blue Jays at
Okay,
Sky Dome. Yep. There's a hotel attached to the baseball stadium.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Jason is
Tangent
the
over.
No, Jason is the best at travel recommendations. Anytime I go anywhere new, I always run it by him. Okay, so La'an is the security officer of the Enterprise. She's doing security type things. Telia has some priceless artworks that she's bringing on board that are suspect, i.e., stolen.
Stolen. Hot.
S-
Hot.
Spock, yeah, Spock has been playing his lute too loud, which, as we know, was given to him as a means to calm down, stuff like that. And as she's doing her rounds, something very mysterious happens. A guy comes out of nowhere and he's shot with a bullet, and he tells her, "You need to get to the bridge." She very quickly figures out he's from a different time period. He gives her a device. There's a weird energy shift that kind of goes across the screen, and she goes to the bridge, and lo and behold, James Kirk is at the
Oh.
helm, not her Captain Pike, and they don't know each other. And at the same time, Kirk hails Spock, who is not on board and is the captain of his own, calling for help in his battle against the Romulans. So La'an very quickly figures out she is in an alternate timeline, impressively quickly figures it out and adapts to it. It just, I enjoyed that. They didn't make a big deal out of her, like, um, struggling with it or wrestling with this, like,
Yeah.
like she just got over it right away.
So
And I
I, I'm
appreciate
I'm
that.
gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna I'm gonna interrupt you right there.
Yeah.
It like that couldn't have been I wouldn't have believed it if it were any other character. Maybe Spock.
Right.
Maybe. And
Yeah.
maybe number one. But it
Hmm.
had to be La'an.
Yeah. Totally agree. Very pragmatic, very logical.
Yeah, and
Just,
very just like what's next and yeah,
yeah. Yep. Like solution oriented.
absolutely.
Okay. We're in an alternate timeline. What do we do? Where are
You're
we
right,
going?
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So she tells Kirk. Kirk is a little bit slower on the uptake, but they get transported back, as we said, to 21st century Toronto. So
Accidentally though.
he has to believe it. Yeah,
Yeah,
accidentally. Um, and so at first they're just kind of walking around Toronto. They have to figure out how to get clothes. Kirk plays chess in the park to win
they
some
go to a
money.
root store.
Explain what a root store is.
Roots is a Canadian apparel company, very much lodge, kind of like sweatpants, sweaters, sweatshirts. They've gone into other stuff, obviously, but it's a very famous, well-known Canadian. I'm sure college kids around campus have it all the time, or the sweatshirt that has the beaver on it, or it says Roots across it. Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, they went into they stole clothes from a Roots store.
Yeah. Stole some clothes so they could blend in and be warmer. They ditch their uniforms. James plays 2D chess in the park, which he describes as like chess for idiots. Destroys everybody, wins enough money so they can get a hotel room. They get some hot dogs. James falls in love with the hot dogs. Um, they they see a sunset. So one of the aspects of this alternate timeline is that Captain Kirk is from a timeline where Earth is still destroyed, and there actually aren't societies and cities and sunsets on Earth. And he was actually born, I think he says the USS Iowa or
The
Idaho or
USS
something.
Iowa, which is cool because he's born
Iowa.
in Iowa, but in this
Right.
timeline.
Yeah,
He's born on the USS Iowa, which is cool.
right. Yeah. So, he's enamored with, he's just like a little kid at Disneyland, basically. By the way, let me ask you, this speaking of tangents. I said
Yeah.
Disneyland. You need to hear a little bit about Jason's Star Wars experience.
Oh
We'll put a
God.
pin in
Okay.
that, and reminder we need to talk lightsabers.
Oh,
Okay.
okay,
Anyway,
okay, 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 okay,
all
okay.
right. Okay. So they're going around the city. They're sharing a hotel. They're trying to figure out what the heck's going on. The longest bridge on Earth gets attacked, and it was this symbolic bridge that was this achievement of two cultures uniting, and it gets attacked. And they notice that there's these weird energy marks on it. They see a photographer there taking photos of it. They ask her, "Hey, can we see those photos to get a better look at it?" Um, so they get suspicious about the markings on this shrapnel from the thing that hit the bridge. They chase the van that's carrying this piece of shrapnel. They get pulled over. That same photographer saves them by accusing the cops of, you know, police brutality or something.
Yeah.
But they lost the van. So then La'an figures out that Pelia, being hundreds or thousands of years old, is going to be alive at this time. So they go visit her. And it turns out at this point, she's not an engineer. She's like an antiques dealer. But some of the pieces that she was smuggling around are floating around her antique shop. So they figure out that certain watches from the 80s have are like what do you call radioactive,
They're
or
radioactive.
they
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so they figure out if they can walk around and notice how this watch responds to radiation in the area, that'll tell them where this thing is. So that's what they
Basically,
do.
the watch is like a Geiger meter, right?
Yeah, yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Geiger counter or whatever.
Geiger
Yeah.
counter. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're walking around, it starts to glow. But here's the thing, as La'an and Kirk are spending all this time, sparks start to fly, and they start to get feelings for each other, and they share a passionate kiss. And it's pretty serious. And
It is a
basically, right when
Kirk.
they
It is James T. Kirk.
apparently, um, yeah, so the watch glows.
Yeah.
They find the facility that's like hiding the stuff where um the source of this bomb and this conspiracy that's happening. And the photographer is a full-fledged conspiracy theorist, allegedly. She believes that it's aliens and there's this massive cover up, and that the government is hiding the fact that it's aliens in exchange for weapons and energy technology, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to the facility, they sneak in, and they find out that it actually is a Noonien Singh Institute. And so they figure out La'an's palm reader, or her palm will open the door, like the biometric
Mm-hmm.
door
Yep.
scan thing. And in that moment, the photographer is revealed to actually be another time traveler, and she's actually a Romulan in disguise, right?
Yep.
And
100%.
so,
Yep.
and it turns out that Khan is there,
Yeah.
Khan Noonien Singh, and she's there to kill a child aged Khan.
Yep.
He looks like he might be 8 or 9 or 10 years old.
Something like that. Yep.
Yeah. And so in the process, Kirk gets killed by the photographer in a, they're struggling over a gun or something. And then Laan says, "My name is Noonien Singh," and you know, at first the implication is like, if you kill him, I'll cease to exist because that's my ancestor.
Yeah.
The Romulan's like, we have that device that the guy gave you, and it gives you this weird temporal immunity, so you'll still exist. And it was the perfect Star Trek moment. It was because it was the age old thing. Like, if you could go back in time and kill Hitler, would you?
Yeah.
You know, it was exactly that. And Laan recognizes that even though it's a legacy of
Yeah.
genocide
Yeah.
and war, it's just not the right thing to do. And so she opts to save Khan. She overpowers the Romulan and kills the Romulan. Um, and she's transported back, and the timeline is fixed. She meets the like temporal investigation agent or something. I forget what they were called.
Yep.
So I was going to ask you about that.
Okay. Yep.
and and then it's revealed the guy she met at the beginning was another one of those agents.
Yep.
And then the agent tells her, you can never tell anyone about this, you can't even tell Pike. And so the thing is that even though La'an was aware of Captain Kirk, they had never actually met. But now she's in a weird place because she has all these feelings for him, but then also saw him die. So she calls him under the guise of needing some security information about his brother Sam. you know, they have a brief conversation, and then like he hangs up. She starts bawling and crying. She's relieved and sad. And she still had the watch. And I feel like the watch is going to create a problem. I feel like it's going to be a MacGuffin of sorts later
Oh,
on.
interesting. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that was the end.
Yeah. That was great.
So, yeah.
That was great. Always a great synopsis. You should, again, you should write for Playbill in New York.
I should. Yeah. Probably need like a doctorate in theater to be qualified
Yeah,
for that,
well.
but sure.
But yeah, no.
I was going to ask, so that agent at the end,
Mm-hmm.
was that the same agent that the same organization that Archer used to deal with in the
Daniels.
Temporal Wars? Daniels, thank you.
Yeah. So I believe so. I believe so. That's not, so Daniels never was specific about where he was from, and I think that was part of the intrigue of into what Daniels was doing.
Mm,
But yeah, I think he was in some version of uh Starfleet temporal investigations.
hmm. Okay, but we agree they're probably the same department. Just
Yeah, it's
yeah.
probable because my memory, if my memory serves me correctly, temporal investigations like really really didn't come up until Deep Space Nine,
Okay.
right? And so all these linkages, like it seems like it, and they probably are, but it's not. I'm not completely certain, but it's likely. Yeah.
Separate than Section 31,
Oh
right?
yes, 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 yes.
Because Section 31 is more specific to Starfleet, right? Mm,
No, Section 31 is much more, yes, to Starfleet, but to the Federation in general. So
mm,
it's kind of like, so if you think of the Starfleet as the military,
mm,
whatever.
yeah,
Um, Section 31 would probably be more like CIA, spies and
sure.
infiltrating governments and like making sure, you know, the Federation way of life endures and does the dirty work and all that kind of stuff, even when it's questionable.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We have the FBI, we have the CIA,
Yeah. Yeah.
we have,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Yeah.
NSA. We have things that are adjacent to each other that are distinct from
Yeah.
each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, okay.
And I'm gonna hold you there just for a second. Our Romulan friend, she
Yeah.
is probably, she didn't state specifically, but she's probably Tal Shiar, which is the Romulan version of the CIA, their
Oh,
own wing of spies and enforcement arm, outside of the Imperial Navy. Imperial Navy.
cool.
So yeah, she's probably a Tal Shiar agent.
Do you know why when she died, she turned into black dust? Like, what was that about?
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. It was probably because of like again that temporal thing, you know how when you burn the sports almanac,
Yeah.
the ripples in time changes. That's my
Okay.
guess that because she dies, the timeline kind of goes back to where it was supposed to be.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Um, what else? I probably need a refresher on Khan because Khan
Okay.
created the augments, right? His
No,
whole th his whole thing was
no.
like cloning and
Okay, so this is where I've been incredibly this is where I've tried to be incredibly careful
sure.
about talking about La'an. And I've always said in these Strange New Worlds episodes, I'm like, oh gosh, how do I explain this without giving it away to those who haven't seen it
Yeah.
or who don't know anything about the Star Trek universe? Okay, so Khan was an Indian prince,
Yeah.
and he was subjected to, hey Becky, um, uh,
She can't hear
yeah, okay, uh,
you.
sorry, um, he was subjected to human eugenics not cloning, but augmentation. And okay, I'm gonna give this away a little bit because we've
Well, the
met
thing
it.
is I think we already covered this when the actor who played Data was in Enterprise. Remember?
No, see, that's Sung,
Okay.
and this is Singh. This is Khan Noonien Singh. Okay,
Okay.
so the story goes Khan Noonien Singh and his followers, they were genetically modified and, whatever. And he gained followers. And in their view, people who weren't genetically modified or enhanced or didn't see have the intellect that he did were inferior. They had so Khan and his followers started to wipe out humanity or started a war with humanity, right?
Mhm.
And because of the eugenics wars, that's where we get last week's episode of like, no, the Federation is very anti human augmentation or just augmentation in general.
Yeah.
So that war kind of wipes out humanity to a degree. And then and that kind of unites the world in a sense.
Sure.
So in this way, they've actually put a they've actually put a the writers have actually put the Stranger New Worlds franchise has kind of shifted the viewpoint of Khan a little bit because
By making it like
if it weren't that gonna happen,
uh
then humanity may have just trudged on and not
mhm.
had that incredibly painful but yet growth at the end, right? The outcome would have been different. And that's separate from World War III.
Okay.
which begins the development of Zephyr Cochrane's warp program and yada yada yada. But in this instance, the eugenics wars, they put an interesting positive spin because if you kill Khan, then the humans don't advance and we don't have to come together and start building things together.
Right. Yeah. Okay, but who was Data?
That is Sung. That's oh gosh. What's Data's creator's name? Dr. Noonien Sung. I know
Oh,
very, 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 very similar names. And that's why it's funny when Kirk and La'an are in the Dodge Challenger and he goes, who are you? You're La'an Sung? And it's a joke because it's actually Sing. And I
oh,
thought
I did not
it was
get
funny.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what is Song's relationship to Sing?
Nothing.
Literally nothing.
Nothing.
So the augments are not related to the Khan genetically altered.
Well,
So that was just kind of like a Easter egg type callback. That whole
yeah,
thing.
so in Enterprise, I'm sure there was another sect of humanity that said, yes, any kind of human advancement needs um augmentation. And
Mhm.
if you look at the Sung line, they're all pretty like, how do we advance humanity? And they just took the augmentation route.
Okay. So obviously, though, that predated this.
Yeah.
Enterprise predates this.
No, no, no,
Uh,
no. Enterprise comes after. This predates Enterprise.
oh, sorry. Right.
Yeah.
Because 21st century versus
Yeah.
22nd century.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I was not thinking clearly, but
Right.
okay.
No, I got you. I got you,
So,
buddy.
so Khan is not an ancestor of
No,
Data.
no, no, no.
Okay.
And that's where, yeah, I get that it's a little confusing because Sung and Sing are very similar, but
Well, it's not
no.
only that, it's the Noonian, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
Noonian
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Song, Noonian
yeah, yeah,
Sing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm sure that's where Noonien Sung gets his, you know, Khan Noonien Sing, but yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
But yeah, no, Khan Noonien Singh. And I'm curious if he still grows up to be an Indian prince or they change his story or they not touch it again. But yeah, he in the original backstory, he's this Indian prince that undergoes human augmentation or eugenics, if you will, and hence the eugenics wars, which we've never seen. There hasn't been Attack of the Clones yet.
Why was this kid's bedroom in the basement of this strange research institute in Toronto? Why was Khan there as a child?
Yeah, because it's a Sing Institute. It was the Sing Institute of whatever it
But
was,
but this
human
almost
advancement.
implies that his parents were the real
This is
antagonists here.
a yeah. I can't answer this one because this was a new wrinkle in
Hmm.
the this is an addition of or a wrinkle in the story. This is not this was the first.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Okay. All right.
and it seemed like it was all about like advancement and war and technology and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Science and technology.
Sure.
Absolutely. Asian
Okay.
parenting style.
All right. Yeah. I mean, okay. Was there anything else with this one? Did you
Um,
recognize the Louvre painting?
yes, I did. Yes, I did. And that was funny, by the way. That's why I was
Yeah.
laughing. Because early in the episode, Pelia was like, I used to run the Department of Archaeology. And
Yeah.
you, as an audience member, you're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense that she taught at a university. But no, it was a warehouse antique store called the Department of Archaeology. That was hilarious. Um,
Was it a Da Vinci?
Yeah, 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 I think
Okay.
so. Yeah. Um, the other thing, uh, the small things I like to add is like, I love that Kirk was still really good at chess,
Yeah.
womanizer, philanderer, whatever you want to call him,
Right.
ladies' man,
Hmm.
and that he was born in the USSR, and that there were things, um, that like you knew this wasn't the James Kirk that we're gonna know. This was a different. He grew up differently, but yet
Yeah.
he's still that yet he it was still lovely that he was still a familiar character that we all grew up with for
Yeah.
William Shatner. And actually he's done an amazing job with James T. Kirk actually. I don't remember his name. Um the
Right.
actor who plays Kirk. And then
Um,
the last thing I'm like lighten up, La'an. You need to like, let people into your life if you're that lonely.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and this episode was a little bit about her recognizing that,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
she
Which was
even
great.
says her opening monologue says something to that degree about know that she's worked with something. I can't
Yeah,
remember. And not carrying around so much excess shame
yeah,
and like, wearing it like a backpack, like
yeah.
a emotional backpack that's stops her from being friends with people or falling in love and the
Right.
whole thing. Yeah. So
And I think that was a really, really interesting point thing that they did to do that is
yeah,
that they twisted the negative narrative of like Khan, Noonien Singh and him being the one that almost nearly destroyed humanity. And that, but it was potentially because he may have been the wrinkle in time or the chosen one or whatever you want to call it, that he had to stay alive for humanity to grow and be ultimately, you know, have that path in this timeline in the Star Trek universe, obviously. So it's cool.
yeah. Well,
And that he was actually played by probably like a South Asian, you know,
yeah, right, right.
actor.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I've never seen the original series, but my view of this Kirk is that he's a lot more charismatic, maybe, than
Maybe,
um, I don't know. I could
maybe,
be wrong,
maybe.
but maybe it's just like, you know, for the time,
Yeah, it could
you
be. It
know.
could be. It could be.
I don't know.
It could be.
Uh, but like I just don't get the same because like everyone makes fun of his speech patterns.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think anyone could get away with that and not
okay,
like, yeah, I
sure.
don't think you could do that today, like, and not be accused of imitating William Shatner and
Yeah,
going, Mr. Spock, I need this now.
right. But it does make a huge difference
Yeah, it
in
does. It does.
in the
It
two
does.
different portrayals.
It does. It does. It does.
So
And that's why I think Kirk is one of the harder ones because of Scotty. I
yeah.
need shields now. All that kind of stuff. Yeah, I do think there is a spirit in which the former vampire he was a former vampire. That's what I've heard, that he's a former vampire.
Oh, on True Blood or something or what?
Yeah, or something. I don't know. I don't
Hmm.
know the actor. who plays
I don't
him.
either. I don't either.
Okay. But yeah, I think he's been a fantastic James T. Kirk so far.
Cool. I will take your word for it. And I'll reserve judgment until
When
we
we get to the
watch the
original
original
series.
series.
I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. I get it.
So yeah, I would give this one like an 86, 87%. That's my
Yeah.
grade. I thought it started out a little abrupt, um, but I thought it came full circle incredibly
Hmm.
at the end. Still a great episode. Um,
Yeah.
no complaints really. I have not one nitpick about it at all. I can't think of a single one. I was genuinely surprised when she turned out to be a Romulan at the end.
It makes
Um,
sense that
it was cool.
you want humanity to just destroy itself, basically. Or
Yeah,
like not progress. I shouldn't say that. Not progress as quickly as we should be to become the Federation. And then there
right.
you go.
Yeah,
One enemy down for the Romulans.
yeah. And I loved how they revealed they had like the weird UFO photo and it was a Romulan ship and
Yeah,
Kirk recognized it. I thought that was a cool way to reveal their role in this whole plot. So,
and you saw it from the end
yeah.
of season one.
Hmm.
No. Yes. No.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. The
The end
season
of season
finale.
one. You saw it. Yep.
Yeah.
The bird of prey.
Hmm. Well, what about you?
I'm similar. It was like I give it 3 pips. It was a Commanders episode. It was fun. It made sense. It was entertaining. It added to this. It added to the to the universe. It added another layer to the world.
Yeah.
Um, no complaints about it. Loved the actually. I was looking forward to this episode. I loved tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow.
What do you think the name is all about?
Oh, I have no. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Probably. It did have um
Maybe it was three different outcomes.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Or just the amount of time they spent on Earth. I don't know.
Hmm. Okay. It's all good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, tell us about I can't believe I forgot to ask you this. Did you get a lightsaber in
I
Disney?
did not. I did
Did.
not. Buddy,
Dude.
I'm a fan.
Hmm.
I I'm a fan of a lot of things.
Yeah.
And first of all, that line,
Okay.
I was like, no, not standing in it.
Hmm.
And I just I didn't I didn't want another thing, right? I didn't need it. I didn't want it. Angel was like, "I'll get it for you if you want." I was like, "No." And she's like, "Oh, it'd be fun." I'm like, "No, no. No. I don't need yeah.
All right, man. I'm
I
a little
already have
disappointed.
way too many sports
Yeah.
memorabilia pieces, jerseys, etc., etc.
Little disappointed.
I know. And the funny thing was when we were so we got a space in did you guys go into the cantina and
Yeah.
stand at the bar or
We
stand at
didn't
the table?
stand, we sat.
Oh, you guys got a table. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Because by the time we got there, I mean, obviously it was last minute and they were like, "Oh yeah, the tables have been booked for like
Hmm.
days." I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
"That's ridiculous." But I get it. So yeah, so we were standing at the cantina and having a drink, and she's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to build a lightsaber. It's not." Yeah, sorry, buddy. I need. And actually, the point of that was She asked me, she was like, "Well, Gabe's got one." I'm like, "Yeah, Gabe's got one, but I don't need to have one."
Well, but you're aware of the whole pageantry of the going into the lab where you build it, and
Yeah.
there's a presentation, and they kind of dub you a Jedi Knight, and
Yeah.
they go through the significance of the different kyber crystals. But it's so well executed because it's a real person telling you
Yeah,
this.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
It's a
yeah.
cast member, but like
Yeah,
as
yeah.
they're talking to you, it's choreographed with this beautiful music, and it like swells at the perfect moment. And she's like, "Now everybody raise your lightsaber."
Yeah.
And I swear, when I went through it, I literally teared up.
Yeah. Oh,
It
you
was
could,
beautifully done.
dude. Dude, there were, I guess we caught it at the end because there were like both women and men. Like you could
Yeah,
tell they had puffy eyes. And I was like,
yeah.
wow.
Hmm.
And then those same people, like some of those same people stayed. And when it was time for the light for the fireworks at Galaxy's Edge, it gets dark, right?
Yeah,
And then you hear the opening tune to the main theme, and
yeah.
everyone raised their lightsaber and flicked on. It was pretty amazing. Angel got a video of it. It was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing.
Cool.
Like almost in like unison. Almost everybody like who had one. Like
Yeah.
yeah. And then the fireworks go off and then the music starts. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. There's not many things in my life that I'm like, yeah, I don't that's not a
I hear you. I gotta say, um, I wouldn't have done it if Becky hadn't just like signed up for it.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I was blown away. It was not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you saw the build a droid one.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So I thought the
That was
lightsaber one,
almost as more that was more popular.
see, I thought that's what the lightsaber thing was going to be. I thought it was going to be just like that. I didn't realize there's a whole production,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
was really blown away
It
by
was
it.
amazing to watch it.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is fun."
Yeah, it was because I had the same mindset. I was like, I do not need another thing. It's expensive. I don't want to fly home with this. This is all of it. But
Yeah.
I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but it's all good, man. Mine broke, by the way, my
Oh
lightsaber. So
no! What happened?
don't know. Yeah. So someday when I go back, I'm hoping I can bring it and they can fix it. But
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh
yeah.
man.
So
So it doesn't light up.
yeah, yeah, it doesn't light up. So,
Okay.
yeah. So.
Oh, that's sad.
But because it's modular and it's just a bunch of different parts, I'm hoping they can just swap out the broken piece
Right,
and then it'll
right,
be good to
right. Yeah,
go.
exactly. Yeah,
It's not like
exactly.
I broke the tube or something. It's
Right,
just
yeah, exactly.
some wires loose or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Should be fixable.
Yeah. Well, my friend,
But yeah.
anything else?
Um I don't think so. There's nothing on the horizon for either franchise, right? Because Paramount's going
Nothing.
through some stuff.
Yeah. Right.
No
Yeah.
Disney announcement or anything like that for Star Wars.
Not that I'm aware of. I
Okay.
mean, there's always some stuff going on. Ryan Gosling is going to be in a thing, and uh, you know, but there's always something in the pipeline.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the new Darth Maul animated show has started yet. I I doubt it. I feel like my Twitter feed would be full of it if it was, but um,
Oh.
we have that to look forward to.
Yeah, that's cool. Are they bringing Sam Witwer back as the voice?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, cool. It'd be really, yeah, it wouldn't be the same without Sam Witwer.
Yeah, one thing was, I don't know if you saw that Lucasfilm released the galaxy map today, actually.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah. So that's worth looking at. I glanced at it. I didn't really look
Okay.
at it. Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see how that, yeah.
Yeah. There's literally hundreds of planets and systems I've never even heard of.
Oh,
So,
I'm sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And I'm sure there's gonna be ones that you'd be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be in a new movie or TV show or whatever the case might be.
Right. It goes back to our conversation from last time we did this about how impossible it is to get your arms around Star Wars
Yeah, yeah,
lore
yeah,
now.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So,
if we would have done it,
mhm.
what do you think we would have done? Because we kicked around like
Hmm.
being niche
Hmm.
and talking about Star Wars but
Yeah, I don't know, man.
yeah,
Um, hard to do. Very hard to do. I mean, I found a Star Wars channel where all they do is read Star Wars books.
wow,
So every episode, it's
wow,
in the format is basically like, hey, I read this Star Wars book, so you don't have to. Here's what it's
right,
about.
right, right.
There are so
There's
many
so many books.
books that it's enough for a standalone channel.
Yeah, of course it can.
Yeah.
There's like thousands of them, aren't there?
I don't know about thousands, but definitely hundreds. So yeah,
Okay, because it goes back like,
I'm sure if you count comic books and stuff, yeah, you're probably in the thousands. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Wow. And like they've got to do non-canon stuff, like old universe,
yeah,
like
yeah, hmm,
um Prince Shizor.
yeah, yeah.
Did he make main universe or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So, okay, interesting. Wow,
like
that's a lot.
yeah. Wasn't that I can't remember if that was Dooku or Qui-Gon's apprentice, right? Wasn't it? Darnez's apprentice? One of
Oh, really? I thought he was just the 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 prince, and then he becomes a
I could see this is what I'm talking
crime
about, dude.
syndicate leader.
Yeah, we're talking about like like thing that I haven't read, and it's like
Right.
years ago, and like this is the problem. This is the problem with Star Wars content. There's too much,
Yeah.
and like with I know with Star Trek, there's books and stuff,
Yeah.
but you can ignore them, and it's not like at least I don't think this show isn't like pulling those in,
No.
whereas
No.
Star Wars
No.
could pull anything in at any time.
No. Star Trek
Yeah.
does, I mean, they pull like maybe planets and background stuff.
Hmm.
Like you may see a ship, the USS New Orleans, for example, right? That was featured prominent in the book, but
Hmm.
that doesn't really carry over or make too much of a, it doesn't play a huge role, if any,
Sure.
in the main canon, whatever you want to call it.
Right. Yeah, they don't have their version of um like what's a good one?
Oh man.
One where they just bring in a character that is straight from the books. You
Yeah.
know, um
Well, Thrawn was kind of, right?
yeah.
Wasn't he?
No, there you know, perfect example right there. So Thrawn was the very first licensed Star Wars novel, the Thrawn trilogy. He is 100% invented by Timothy Zahn, something
Okay,
Zahn,
okay, okay.
who wrote those books. He invented Thrawn. And then later on, Filoni's like, well, we need a strategist, ruthless, you know, imperial officer. Instead of making up one, let's just pluck Thrawn out of
Right, okay.
obscurity. And now look at the impact he has had on the series or
Yeah.
the franchise,
Yeah.
right?
Well, but wasn't he just because he was also popular in a
Yeah.
very niche way, right? No, I don't know.
Well, I mean, he would have to be like, I mean, those are the first books I read.
Okay.
Um,
I remember him being in a comic, like a long
yeah,
form manga kind of deal,
yeah,
where the emperor
yeah. You told me
comes
about that
back.
as a clone.
Yeah,
That's in the novel too.
And Luke is his apprentice or becomes his apprentice or something
Oh, I don't remember that,
to
but
overthrow.
I
I
believe
don't
you.
remember it. I don't remember
Yeah,
it.
I believe you. So,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. All right, my man.
All right. I
Thank
think that's
you.
it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
everyone, thanks for listening. Please follow us on all the stuff. Um, we always tell people to follow us on Spotify, and for some reason, Apple Podcasts is just way more popular.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway,
I've migrated over to Apple Podcasts
okay,
for quite a few of my podcasts actually.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, um, follow us wherever you want, but subscribe to us on
We're on
YouTube.
there.
That would be great.
That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
and if you like The Legend of Zelda, subscribe to my Zelda channel, Gabeora, Gabeora, and we appreciate it. And until next time, live long and prosper.
And may the force be with you always.
See ya. Thank you, Jason.
Thanks, buddy. Have fun in Las Vegas. Have a happy 4th.
Will do. You as well. Be
Yep.
safe out there.
Yep.
Talk,
Take
talk to you
take
soon.
Linnea to the buffets.
I will.
Bacchanal, the Bacchanal.
Bye now.